Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. I don't have a script today, so I'll be rambling a lot and I have no idea what I'm doing. Today is January 30th and it's been almost a month into the new year's. One of my resolutions was to participate in an art challenge. It could have been something like Inktober or Mermaid, but you know, I felt like those were challenges that I would not be able to actually finish. So I really wanted to have something kind of personal to me. As a kid, I used to love horses and also love drawing. So as a kid, I would just draw horses a lot. Recently, I kind of fell out of love with drawing, so I just really wanted to bring some of my skills back and see from there what I want to do with my drawing skills. And now 30 days later, I somehow managed to actually complete the challenge. Whether I succeeded depends more on the perspective, but throughout the challenge I realized it was kind of about habit building and just making sure I put something on paper. So now I'm just gonna take you through all the horses I drew. So I mainly worked in this sketch pad, which is 120 grams. It's not watercolor paper, it's really more sketch paper, but I used a lot of watercolor on top of it. I'm gonna try to keep my drawings to one side, so over here you can see the time lapse of me drawing it. So over here is day one, which is more about my current skill set. And as you can see, there's a lot of doodles, a lot of cartoons. My Little Pony shaped a lot of the ponies I draw, and as you can see also some smaller doodles that I would draw in class. I didn't really have rules for this challenge, but I wanted to put something on paper to be kind of proud of, or at least have some development in my art skills. So this is day two, which are some drawings based on some references. As a kid, I was a fan of Slowik's photography, so I just took a few pictures and really looked at the structure of a horse body and especially where the muscles are. So on day three, I followed an art tutorial on YouTube, which was done by Art of Way. And I really like this picture. Of course, it looks a lot like the one in the video, but it really shows the muscles in a horse body. Horses are very dynamic animals, so it was really important to show all the creases and all the muscles. I really like this page, so I looked more into the anatomy of a horse leg. I just drew a few horse legs and I just really like how it turned out. Of course, they are based on references, but I never really took horse drawing this serious, so I made sure to show all the muscles and just the poses of the legs. I really like this page, it looks very professional. So on day five, I admit I was very tired after work, so I spent a lot of my last bits of energy to make sure I put something on paper. So I just had a reference picture and I just copied it, also the muscles, also the pose, and I just doodled a horse next to it to make sure I added something, but I was really tired this day. So on day six, I was also very tired, very not in the mood to draw, but I really forced myself to put something on paper. This is kind of a messy page. I just drew a few horse breeds. I tried the Shetlander. My favorite is the Irish Cob, but you can't really make something out of it. We have the Fjord, an Arabian horse, and maybe something abstract. But yeah, later in this month I also got sick, so there are a lot of pages like these where I'm just not feeling it and just sketching and doodling rather than making an actual art piece. So for the next 2 days I worked on this watercolor paper, which I didn't really like because it's cold press, which means it's very textured. And with the sketch pad it's all kind of very flat, so that's why I used a lot of watercolor on this paper while it's not even watercolor. So as you can see on the time lapse, this used to be just some random flowers I drew, and it was kind of a waste of paper, so I decided to draw a horse on top of it. And this was kind of the first day that I brought some color into my drawings, and it made the challenge a lot more fun using colors. So I just took a lot of things that I learned about the shading, about the muscles, and made sure that they showed a little bit in the drawings. I wished I left this a little bit more transparent to show the previous drawn flowers, but in the end I do like how this turned out. So this was day 8, where I just played around with some acrylics, and again trying to show the muscles. And I love how the yellow one turned out because it's the most realistic one. How the purple one turned out, it would be something I would draw a few years ago, and comparing that next to the yellow one, I really like how the yellow one turned out. This is more just an expressive random drawing, but at least I used multiple mediums and I just liked how it turned out. So once I used colors, the pieces also looked more complete, because while grayscale is a very nice skill to have, it's not something for me. I also had to keep myself a little bit excited throughout the challenge. So this is one of my favorite pieces. It's based on a Schleich horse figure, which was the Tennessee Walker Stallion, and this was the first time that I used watercolor, but also a lot of shading, and this is a piece that I'm very proud of. Well, it was not my intention as a kid, in 2009 or something, when I was 11 or 10, I drew this one, which looks a lot like the one I drew, and sometimes I just don't think I would ever improve, but at the same time you can see how much structure I put in this drawing compared to this one, which was very motivational. So on day 10 I drew this piece, which I'm also very in love with. This is basically inspired by a statue that is next to a roller coaster named Troy in the Netherlands. And as someone who loves theme parks but also likes horses, this is pretty much the perfect combination between those two. And Troy is also probably my favorite roller coaster that I've ridden. I would like to draw this statue or this horse many more times because I do really like how it looks and it's just a fun thing to play around with. So on day 11 I drew this horse, which was kind of inspired by, again, theme parks and carousels, again, which makes a fun combination. So there are a lot of browns, a lot of greens, a lot of roses, and yeah, it was just a very cute piece. So on a separate piece of paper we have day 12. I didn't really prepare well, so I didn't have my camera, I didn't have my sketch pad, so I just took some pictures of how the picture developed. But over here we have just a Tinker horse, just grazing, eating some grass, and again I was very tired, so it's a very sketchy picture and just a lot of sketchy movements. So on day 13 I drew some Irish cobs, some Tinker horses, also known as gypsy horses, which are my favorite breed of horses because I really like how they look. Drawing is more difficult because they're of course more bigger, less defined rather than the regular Arabian horse, for example. But at the same time, they do look like Tinker horses, so yeah, this was just a good exercise for me. Again, I used a lot of references because I know that if I didn't use references, they would just look like regular horses. On day 14, some fjord horses, also another breed. It's a little bit more messy. I think I was also very busy with school that day, which resulted in me just having to rush my horses. I do like the watercolor look even though it's very messy. And yeah, once you use colors, fjord horses become very distinguishable. So on day 15 I think I was also very busy, so I just drew some horse legs, just a horse, I think, based on memory, but I'm not sure. You'll see it in the time lapse anyways. I was just happy to put something on paper. So day 16 was Valentine's Day, so I was again kind of in a rush because I did want to hang out with my boyfriend. So I kind of tried to draw both of us as horses, but those are just quick drawings because I was very busy. I had a lot of places to go to. So this is a very depressing piece. This was on a Friday, but I was just very tired from the week. I forgot that sometimes I'm an introvert and just need some time to recover, so I was just mentally very exhausted. I wasn't in the mood to draw a horse either, but I just dumped my mood onto paper and this is what I got. I really like the watercolor drips. It's a very depressing piece, but I really like how it turns out. So I was slowly getting more sick, so the drawings are very much up and down in quality. Here are some horse ears, some horse behaviors, and this was an attempt on a Schwarzwälder Fuchs because I'm going to the Black Forest in a few weeks, so I just wanted to draw a horse based, from that region. I really like day 19 because those are the 3 mythical horses, one from the sky, one on earth, one or in the sea. As a child, I think I spent most of the time just drawing mythical horses like Pegasi, like unicorns, but also those sea horses. So I just went back to what I really liked as a kid and drew a few mythical horses. I also looked at some unique horse markings, so I tried to implement that in the drawings. I really like the pink unicorn. My goal this month was also to draw more of those mythical horses, but unfortunately I didn't really get to it. I somehow stuck more to drawing some semi-realistic. This is a page I am pretty proud of, thinking back to all the mythical horses I drew as a child. So day 20 was another day that I felt really sick. So this is just a My Little Pony drawing of Trouble Shoes, which I've already drawn a few years ago when the episode was released, with a small Apple Bloom. I just really like the sizes of the horses. Like Apple Bloom would be like a Falabella sized pony, while Trouble Shoes is like those Clydesdales, those big working horses. So this was day 21. So this was another piece using a Schleich horse as a reference. But as you can see, #miserable, I was really not feeling it, so I just tried to put the structure down, put the pose down, some cool manes, and just leave it by that. Another miserable page, I think this was last weekend, and I just felt miserable. I just slept the entire day. Yes, you can see some horses laying down. I tried to have the structure. I used a horse book that I always had as a child with me for kind of the jumping, the dressage, and just these different sports of horses. But unfortunately, I couldn't really put a lot of effort in these because while I love drawing, it just made me feel more miserable. So this is my worst page from the entire month. If I look back at the calendar, this was a day where I just really couldn't get up anymore out of bed. I just was way too tired to do anything, let alone drawing. As you can see, a little bit My Little Pony inspired. Over here there's just a random horse pose, and I attempted to draw a leg, but I used a regular ink pen because I was even too tired to find the pencil to work with. This was literally the bottom of the challenge. So this was day 24. I had a field trip with school to a reptile house. It was one of the smallest zoo in the Netherlands, and over there they had a lot of reptiles, a lot of insects. So I just drew a few inspired horses. So over here we have a turtle horse, over here we have a spider horse, and over here we have a snake horse. It took a lot of persuasion from other people, but I finally went to the doctor and I got some medicine, so you could pretty much say I was on drugs while I was drawing these. The actual concept of an 8-legged horse is actually also a mythical story. So even though I didn't draw the mythical horse, over here we have a spider horse. So on day 25 I again didn't have my proper supplies, or at least I was too lazy to set them up, so I just drew just an easy picture on my phone, which is just the horse drawing a carriage. The most important thing for me again was just to put something on paper, even though some of my artworks were really on the low end side, which is disappointing, but at the same time it was so easy to just tell myself to not draw anything, and that's not something that I just refused to do. So this page on day 26 was more on the doodly side. It was more about the practicality because I didn't really have a color palette for my watercolor palette, so I basically just swatched all of the colors that I had and drew horses in them. And I actually referred back to this page on the last few days of the challenge, so this was something very useful for me. I try to have horses from different poses, different breeds. Over here we have 2 horses, over here we have a smaller one, which is like a combination of those 2 colors. So while this was more on the doodly side, it was very practical. After a few days of rest, I finally felt much better, so I took it upon myself to actually draw something to be proud of. I drew this using the reference of this toy that was first from my little brother, but gave it to me because it's a horse. And I really threw all of my energy, skills into this piece, and I'm very proud on how it turned out. On day 28, I was very much in the Pokemon Go mood. I do try to play daily, but I had a rough week. So to just get myself into the habit of playing Pokemon Go again, I drew Ponyta. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to draw a shiny Ponyta or not, so I just combined them and made it half shiny, half regular. I think it's very cute, although the burning path kind of failed on me. So day 29, I think I was just busy, so again, very sketchy, very unprofessional horses, but at the same time, I was just kind of done with it. These were the last 2 horses that I drew for this challenge, and they're both inspired by previous artworks I made as a child. So we have this brown horse with this moon marking, which I just drew in watercolor. And on the right side we have this kind of a Frisian horse. Yeah, and both were kind of drawn around the age of 10, and I'm 20 now, so it's been pretty much a decade since I drew these horses. And yeah, I'm just glad that I kinda improved in drawing horses, even though I will never really get to the professional level of style or skills. So those were my 30 days of drawing horses. Did I learn something? I learned that horses are very dynamic animals, very muscular. Something I really like about them is the different kinds of breeds that I never got to actually draw. Things happen, I got sick, sometimes I was busy, so I couldn't really deliver a masterpiece every day, but that was also not the goal, because most of the times when you want to build your skill, it's not always going to be perfect, and that's something I was very much reminded of during the challenge. I realized drawing can be fun again. Of course, there are people that draw way better than me and way more interestingly and more anatomically correct, but I think this challenge was more to just show myself how to have fun drawing. And because I used my watercolor palette a lot, I just consider keep using it, not for only horses. Even though I had some very bad days, very bad sketches, at the same time, without this challenge, I wouldn't have drawn some pieces that I really like this one. At the end of the day, this was just a very fun practice for me, and at the end of the year, I can tell myself that I managed to do an art challenge. Again, whether I succeeded is depending on perspective, but I did draw a horse every day. This kind of motivated me to do another art challenge, maybe later in this year, maybe something more challenging, because I did have the basis to draw a horse. Fortunately, But I hope this video has motivated you, or it was just something fun to watch. And I'll see you next time for a new video. Thanks for watching!